I'm Jason Creel. Let's talk about 10 things lawn care businesses do that cost them money. Let's go through the list and see if any of these 10 things that you're doing that you can fix to make more money. Not in any particular order. Number one, not raising prices. I'm not a huge fan of raising prices, but there are times when it's the smart thing to do. If you have customers that you know for a fact are not profitable, either because you have to drive further out of your way to approach them, or maybe they're a little bit of a high maintenance customer and all complaining and wanting you to do extra services, just you can evaluate, and you should be able to tell which customers are profitable and which ones are not. And so I think back to my own business a few years ago when I had a big business, and if I would have just increased prices by $5, which I wouldn't do that every year, but every 4 or 5 years you increase prices, I could have generated another $1,000 a month or so without doing any more work. And what you got to factor in is if you lose customers by raising prices, well, you may lose customers and still end up making more money. So again, let's look at net and not gross. Your number two thing you may be doing that's cost you money is you're bad at collections. I've gotten better at collections, but I wouldn't say I'm great at it still. Sometimes I find myself trusting the customer a little too much. And so, but I've been burned enough to where I've shortened that leash a little bit. And so, if you got a customer that is not paying, my number one word would be don't trust them. If they say, oh, well, hey, I know I hadn't paid the last couple months, but I'm going to get you next month. No, stop the service, and you don't do any work until they pay. And, sometimes you have to, it may be wise to do, what I call putting them on the special prepay plan. You've qualified for my limited time prepay plan, meaning you pay me up front or I'm not cranking the mower. So, use your judgment. Obviously, you want to do everyone that way, but if you have a customer that's inconsistent in paying, you may want to make some changes. Number three, putting money in old equipment. Are you doing that? Do you have that lawnmower that's got 2,000 hours on it, and every year you're spending $2,000-3,000 in repairs, and it's constantly down, and it's constantly having to go to a backup mower or go borrow a mower? I don't understand that. I don't understand the same thing just with handheld equipment. If you got a blower or a string trimmer, if it goes down and you're going to spend $100 at the shop to get a when you could buy a brand new one for $300 or $350, and then so you put another $100 into it, and it's still old and still unreliable. Sometimes I think it's better just to move on, buy another one. Same thing with mowers. You don't move on, you sell them, but technically I like to sell the mowers before they get too many hours on them, and try to get one that's reliable, because it's not just about the repairs and the expense of that, which is significant, but it's also about the downtime and what that does to your business being without a mower. So number four, you're not marketing yourself. I see that all the time. The guys they're either got too many customers, which I guess in that situation they don't necessarily need to be out there marketing, where they don't have time to market because they're so busy cutting lawns. But there's a lot of people that even starting out, their marketing is so terrible, or they just don't know how to go about it, or they don't put the time into it, or don't see a need for it. But like I said, you find example after example where a company has a lot of customers, and it's not because of the quality of their work. Sad to say, it's because they know how to market themselves better. And so if you can emphasize the quality of work and market yourself, then you can grow your business. Number 5, you're driving around too much. Now this especially can be important if you have a crew. And so you got 3 or 4 guys in the truck with you, and you want to drive across town to mow 1 yard. It doesn't make sense. And so obviously if it's just you working by yourself, driving is not as big of an expense because you're not paying labor. But even then, you really need to tighten your route sometimes. Like I said, for me personally, I've had more success focusing on small and medium-sized lawns and just really getting a lot of them in the same neighborhoods, as opposed to maybe driving the other side of town and focusing on a few larger lawns that pay more maybe per lawn, but you got to drive out of the way. And anyway, it just, the tight route, if you're small and you want to be profitable, it definitely helps. So maybe examine your route and see, could I tighten up the route? Maybe it'd help if I just got rid of that one customer altogether, where I didn't have to drive over there 20 minutes out of the way to mow 1 lawn. So number 6, you need better equipment. I saw this the other day. 4 guys got out of a truck, and they had I think it was a John Deere garden tractor with a bagger on it. And I thought, well, if they only had 1 guy and he had a 0-turn mower, he'd be better off. And so if you're using inferior equipment, I mean, like I say, I'm not one for going out and buying a lot of brand new equipment before you have customers, but at the same time, 0-turn mowers are popular for a reason. I mean, they're far superior. If you've got went to a big box store and picked up your string trimmer for $69, it's just not going to be as good. Or maybe you're using an old handheld blower, and if you just upgrade to a backpack blower, you're saving yourself time. So, nice equipment definitely makes a huge difference in the quality of your work, but also your speed, and that, time's money. So. Number 7, bad employees. Maybe you're the bad employee. I don't know, but maybe it's also some people that work for you. And I can tell you firsthand, the difference in a good employee and a bad one is a lot more than paying them $2 an hour. As if it's $10 an hour for a bad employee and $12 for a good one, you're way better off paying $12 for a good one, And it doesn't. If they're a bad employee, it doesn't matter if they work for free. I mean, half the time they're more trouble than they're worth. So, if your employees are costing you money, are they doing such poor work that you're losing customers? Or are they just slow? Are they unreliable? And all the time you're having to fill their spot because they didn't show up to work. So, think about these things. Well, maybe I could upgrade my employees next year, and that would help me. Number 8. You put too much money in your equipment. We talked about maybe having too poor of equipment. Maybe you got more equipment, more pieces of equipment than you do customers. You got a bagging mower that's $8,000 to $10,000 walker or navigator, and you got 0-turn mowers. You got all this equipment. You don't have the business to justify it. You're hamstringing your business financially. And you really need to focus on going and getting customers. Like I said, I'm not saying don't have nice equipment, but if you're really pouring the money in there and it's putting a lot of financial strain on the business, it's going to hamper you from taking off. So, number 9, not going after higher priced properties. When I first started, I talked to a guy who'd been in the lawn business, and he told me, I felt intimidated by a nicer neighborhood, and I said, I'm not sure I'm ready for that neighborhood yet. And he encouraged me. He said, no. He said, you need to go out there and target that neighborhood. So I don't agree with people, and their overall strategy is just to be the lowest price in town. And let's just see how many we can get for a cheap price. You see the people that are successful, most of them are not, the cheapest in town. I mean, they may not. You don't have to be the most expensive, but I try to stay around middle of the range, mid-range, and to grow my business. But don't try to be cheapest guy in town. Number 10. This one's a little bit self-promotional, but basically you hadn't started your lawn care business, and that's what's costing you money. this is a money-making business. You know, it's successful. Service industries, by their nature, I mean, are quick profit makers, because you know, you work today, you get paid. So the lawn care business is that. It's got a chance to make big money if you grow it, but it's also, if you just want to stay small, if you even starting out by yourself, I mean, working by yourself, you can make $400 a day. I mean, you really can. So so anyway, it is what it is, and you know, you can go to my website. I've got a lot of information on starting a lawn care business that can help you. So anyway, these are 10 things that you may be doing. Evaluate them. Hey, can you make some changes now or next year that'll make you more money? Thanks. Before I forget, maybe I missed one. What's number 11? You add it in the comments section. Leave a comment. Tell me what I missed and what else you think you could do, or you see people do that are costing them money.